Hello friends, welcome to the presentation about consciousness geometry, which means only using the fundamental tools of consciousness. My name is Eric, and especially today we will address the sphere. If we hear the word sphere, then we think about the flower of life, because the flower of life was scratched into walls since thousands of years and worldwide. For this reason, we should take the flower of life important, because these beings most probably did not make the scratchings to just show that the flower of life is beautiful, but to give a hint that the flower of life has important functions in our world. That means first we try to find out where exactly the flower of life is anchored in the cube structure. This is the flower of life in 3D. We start with a diagonal area in the cube. It has 6 corners, so let's call it area 6. And now every point of area 6 gets a sphere, and this leads to the seed of life. Here's the perspective view. And now we occupy each point of area 6 with a seed of life. And this leads us to the flower of life. Here the perspective view. We turn the flower into the horizontal position and see that the vertical axis is equal to the space diagonal of the home house. Consciousness now can move from 0 point to 0 point, from sphere to sphere, either in circles with light speed or straight away. If it rides in circles, it's materia, and if it rides straight away, it's light, activating and deactivating the spheres. This is the 3D flower of life, and it's fundamental because it determines the order of spheres. Now we anchored the centers of the spheres in the cube structure, and the next question is, how is the surface of the spheres anchored in the cube structure? The spheres have a certain size and fit exactly into the home house. And now we use the one system. That means every point of intersection of the home house gets an own home house. And the overlapping of the coordinates leads to a 64 cube structure, which is creating a higher level home house, like this. The bigger home house is creating an octahedron, and the sphere is anchoring in the octahedron at half of the height of the pyramid. Additionally, the sphere is anchored in the cube, and this raises the stability, and stability supports self-preservation. We always have a focus to the anchor points, and it is possible to create tetrahedron formations in the bigger home house, which are stabilizing the octahedron. We color the anchor points into red and connect them, and this leads to a formation which is looking like a Da Vinci diamond. So let's call it Planck diamond. And this Planck diamond is fitting exactly into the sphere and is related to the small octahedron. Now we can create the same construction with a big octahedron like this. And then the sphere is anchoring at 2/3 of the height of the pyramid. And this is creating probably a mechanism like a switch between the octahedron sphere constructions. The higher level home house is creating tetrahedron formations, which are creating smaller tetrahedron formations, and these support new anchor points, anchoring the big sphere. And if we connect these anchor points, then we get a Da Vinci diamond. We know how the sphere is anchored in the cube structure, but to clarify the nature of a sphere, we have to go back to the beginning. At the beginning, we have a wall in the distance of 1, with a 0 point and the point of intersection with the wall and a connection line. And if we limit the wall, then we get this construction containing all object elements. The outer structure, which is the wall, the inner structure, represented by the line, the surface of our object, which is the dot, and the 0 point. Now we can create such a wall construction in all directions. This is the side view. We get multiple points of intersection and an inner structure, creating a sphere made of anchor points. The outer structure is confusing due to the high number of walls. Therefore, consciousness returns to the beginning with a sphere in mind, starting to create new formations of wall constructions touching the sphere. This is the starting position for the creation of symmetrical objects, and we know this from the American students which are wearing these kinds of college hats. The first symmetrical object is a tetrahedron, because a tetrahedron has the smallest number of walls and the smallest volume. By the way, there are people which are also wearing these kinds of hats, like Jamaican clerics. The equilateral tetrahedron is supporting stability, and stability is supporting self-preservation. The tetrahedron is mirroring itself through the central points as inner structure, and the mirrored tetrahedron is completing the outer structure to a star tetrahedron, with a smaller star tetrahedron in the inner side. The big tetrahedron is creating a cube with a coordinate cross, and if we continue building these structures, it leads us to the home house. And from the home house we can start with dimensioning the universe, which is enabling us to make structures invisible without deleting them, because the cube structures are needed for docking purposes. Dimensioning starts with a one system. That means the coordinate size is equal to the universe. Exactly one coordinate is fitting into the system, and the universe is equal to a home house with 27 points of intersection, and each point gets a coordinate. Now the coordinates are overlapping, creating a 64 cube structure. Additionally, we also can substitute coordinates by tetrahedron formations, and the overlapping creates smaller tetrahedron formations, and this leads us to vortex structures. We continue with the two system. The coordinates now have the half size of the length of the universe. 8 coordinates are fitting into the system, and the 27 points of intersection are getting a coordinate, creating a 27 cube structure. We continue with the 3 system, and we can recognize well that the coordinates are enlarging the universe, just like a little Big Bang. If we continue, we see that the coordinates are getting smaller and smaller. This is the 7 system, 8, 9, 10. But the home house is always keeping the same size. Therefore, the systems are compatible. The 10th system already contains 1000 coordinates. From the 10/1.1 system, we go to the 10/1.01 system, and this means a coordinate is 100 times smaller than the length of the universe. And now if we just add 10 and take the 10/1.001 system, we can hardly recognize the structures anymore. So it turns into a kind of dark matter, but is not vanished. Here we have 2 zeros behind the dot, and in reality, if we take the Planck length as basis, then we have 35 zeros behind the dot. If we zoom into a coordinate in our 10/1.001 system, we see that the cube structure is still available. And if we take a look to the star tetrahedron and change the outer structure to a 10/1.001 system, we get this picture. And if we turn the smaller star tetrahedron to some other directions, then we get the impression of a sphere surface with an invisible outer structure. We have created the sphere and the flower of life. We have created area 6, which is anchoring the flower of life in the cube structure. And we also can place area 6 in 4 different ways in the cube by turning them 90 degrees. This is creating a Planck diamond. Now we place a flower of life on every area 6, and a sphere construction in the shape of a Planck diamond appears. Here, consciousness is able to run in circles from 0 point to 0 point with light speed. Light speed means moving forward 1 Planck meter in 1 Planck second in one picture sequence. That means that light speed is the minimum speed for us. And we just do not move forward with light speed because objects are turning in circles and spirals. And this also means that light is an algorithm for consciousness to move straight away from sphere to neighbor sphere without skipping any coordinate, activating and deactivating the spheres by using the 0 points. If consciousness is able to skip coordinates and picture sequences, and everything else would not make sense from my point of view, then the highest speed in the universe is the moving forward of consciousness from one edge of the universe to the other, along the space diagonal, and in 1 Planck second. This is approximately 30 billion light years per Planck second, depending on the size of the universe. And this would also explain the quantum entanglement. Fascinating formations are appearing, similar to nature. Here we just anchored 4 flowers of life in the cube, and this formation is looking just like an apple. I hope you liked my presentation. My name is Eric, and I wish you a nice evening.